Hello again, everyone. It's Melanie. I just set these things here on screen and then I realized how bright these plastic bags are on screen. So I'm going to take this stuff out of these bags. So my next giveaway journal. Here's what I've decided to do. I was inspired by, and now I've put them back in the other room, Japanese Zaka magazines that I have. I'll post one in one of the other videos that I want to do for this. But I wanted to do kind of a shabby, shabby chic sort of journal. Anyway, it's going to be primarily pink. And I love flowers. So I had this book cover that it was funny because the book cover I had not used because I thought, oh, it's brown. But it's not really brown. Once I got it taken apart and started on my cover or started on stitching it, I realized, oh, it's really just craft paper. So this is a smaller book cover. The book cover itself is 5 1/4 by almost 8 1/2. So I started the spine. Oh, let me grab my glasses. Okay, and I used a piece of this really long, kind of wide snippet roll stuff that I made. It's like 4 1/2 inches wide, and it's all pink. The whole thing is pink. So that's where I cut a piece of that off, and I'm using it as the soft spine, and I stitched it down to a piece of heavy canvas on the back to reinforce it. And then I started doing some pages, and I actually was going to wait and sew this on camera so you could watch again how I do that. But after I started playing with some of the pages to figure out kind of what I wanted to do, I decided I'm not quite sure how thick it's going to be. So in that case, I'm going to wait now until I get all my signatures made, and then I'll use the thickness of my book text block of my book. I'll use the thickness of that to determine how wide I want to make my fabric spine. So, pages for the inside. I had this all written out, but I don't know, it's in my other journal. Okay, so just like with the Busy Hands journals, how I like all of the, let me clear this other stuff so you can see what I'm talking about. So one thing that I really liked about this journal after I put it together was the fact that with the pages being so many different sizes and shapes, it's almost like and I think I mentioned I love flipping through this book. It's kind of like it takes on, every time you turn the page, there's a new composition in front of you when it's this much stuff going on. So like right now, I look at this page and, or you know, say here, I've got this tealy green kind of mimicked on this color. Actually, the blue lines on this index card kind of match that too. And then once you flip the page, you've got the green and the green. And then I have, just coincidentally, you know, this teal color is showing here and it matches this one over here. And once we flip this page, you know, it reveals, okay, we've got orange here and then that teal again, and then this is the cover off of an old sketchbook. But there's that green again that you know, that matches this green, and it exposes more of that orange. So, you know, and then you can't really see it here. I mean, we've got this black here, and then you can see that little hint of black right there. And then when you flip it again, I like how you can see the little window, you know, see the orange through the little windows. That creates a whole nother, you know, look of something. And then you've got this hint of that scallop there. I feel like this kind of coordinates with, you know, some of that. So I just like flipping through it and looking at the pages kind of as a whole, you know, and there's one layout in particular in here that I thought I really like, you know, and it's funny how I put it together, well, I say I put it together completely at random, but then when I think about it, I mean, maybe subconsciously I am thinking about, you know, this yellow picking up this yellow and these warm tones here, like the hot pink and the coral being picked up here. I love this, the way it looks with this. You know, I've got this green and I don't know, I thought it was kind of fun how, you know, this coordinates with this and even the back side of that. And when you're looking at this, if you're sitting here looking at this book, there's this dark burgundy sort of paper, and then it kind of coordinates with this dark brown that I've got over here. You see a line, but there, oh, this is the page I was talking about. So I put these tabs in there from a set of flashcards that I have, and the backs were totally blank. So I just totally at random smoothed some paint on this. So it doesn't really, I mean, the only blue is right there, and then we've got blue over here, and then you flip it, and then I've got the look of this piece of paper on top of this blue ground, and then when you flip it, whoa, you've got this bright red, and this, you know, that reveals itself, and then this flashcard sticks out there, and then, you know, I don't know. So that's my thought. I hope it didn't take too long to say that, but it was just interesting to go back through this and see how things kind of coordinate, and to see how, you know, every time, with it being all scrappy like this, every time you turn the page, it completely changes the look of the book, because you can see, you know, here you can see this and this, but then you flip this page and all of a sudden that purple color goes with that. So it like changes to a whole new composition of you know, what the layout of the pages looks like. So that's what I was going to play with in this next journal. And I thought I would do some, so, you know, some larger pages and then some smaller pages. And what I ended up with is I think I'm going to do a full-size page and then 2 smaller pages, and then a full-size page and 2 smaller pages, and alternate like that, because then it will create different, every time you flip the page, it'll create a different look or so. So pages, I went through my scrapbook bin, which I've been using, my scrapbook paper, and I found papers that I kind of liked for this, but they were single-sided. So I went through and just painted watercolor. This is, I don't like this pink though. This pink bothers me. But I just watercolored the back of these scrapbook papers so that when I use them in the journal, they won't be blank. They won't be stark white and blank on the back side. So I have those. And then I also went through my scrap bin and pulled out scrapbook paper that's double-sided, so I can use those scraps. And then, this is what may have gotten this started. I was scanning my handkerchief collection the other day, and so I started playing with that, maybe to do a new digital kit. And so I was playing with all the, shaping them into new, you know, into new handkerchiefs and making different sizes and whatnot. And then I thought, oh, well, I can make some collage pages. So then I started playing with using some vintage wallpaper combined with my doilies and handkerchiefs, and doing some some collage pages. So these are some of the ones that I worked on. That one I put a grungy layer on top of it to see how I liked it. So I was playing with that. And I think that doing the handkerchiefs is what inspired me to think of, oh, I want to do one that's kind of homespun and old-fashioned, vintage. So there's that. And then these are some more of the, switched some of them around. And if you're interested in these, I think I will try to put them in my shop. I think this is the one I ended up on. Anyway, so then I'm thinking, well, these are blank on the back. So I made some pages that were, these are vintage, public domain, vintage wallpaper swatches or samples from museums online. And I made them very transparent. So the point was, what I was thinking is I could print these on both sides, and this is just regular office paper. And the way that it's set up, it's printing very transparent, very light. So I could print it on just regular paper, and I could use this paper, and it would be double-sided. Anyway, so this might be something else that I can put in my downloads. And then I dyed some paper with some red food color, and it came out a really garish bright pink. I tried this, and I'm considering it kind of a fail. This was, I wanted it to look like a fabric weave maybe, but this is a fan brush, a watercolor fan brush, and it's just watercolor brushed on both directions. And so I played with that, but I'm not wild about it. It's just an extra piece of paper. So I'm putting together some signatures for this book. So my thought is the outside of the signature, this would be page 1, and then I have 2 smaller pages, and then a full-size page, and then 2 smaller pages, and then a full-size page, and then 2 smaller pages. And I was trying to consciously think about what it looks like when you open these up. So like here, the colors in the color, it's a monotone. The color here is picked up by the little edges of this wallpaper color, and then you open it up and you've got this blue. So this would be the center spread in the journal. And then I was thinking, as I go through, you know, I've got flowers, I put them with flowers, and these are some, you know, when you buy those photo boxes, you get a little set of tab dividers that go in them, and that's these. I just sewed them together into pockets, and then they were plain on the back, and I wasn't going to paint them, so I just used marker. I think this is all Tombows. Used Tombow markers and made some stripes on them, and I stitched that to a fabric hinge. And the first one I did, I was gonna stitch it on and then trim the ends off of it, but then after I stitched it, I thought, you know, there's no reason to trim the ends off of it, because I don't think, except for the fact that if you put the book on the shelf, and this would be hanging out the bottom of the book, but it's soft. I mean, so I think I'm gonna do, I was gonna originally do 3 signatures, so I did 3 of these hinged pages that were sewn onto fabric that was really long, that would stick up out of the top and the bottom of the book, like that. I don't know, this book may be, it might need 4 signatures if I'm just gonna stick with the kind of layout that I have here, the number of pages and stuff. So I was just, that's what I'm doing. I was just thinking about kind of what all the pages look like as you flip through them, and and you know what you can see, like here I've got this hint of this gold showing, and then this is kind of, oh, it's so pretty and soft kind of, and then bam, hot pink, you know. And then this is a scrap of something, and some of that dyed paper. There's a pocket, and then these colors kind of echo one another, and then this polka dot, the ground of this polka dot fabric kind of plays off of this color. And then I liked the mixing of these two florals and then these huge polka dots with these tiny polka dots, and then I showed you this one, the center layout. And then here I really liked this stripe, strong blue stripe with these blue flowers over here. That one's a little softer pink. This one, it turned out a lot brighter than I think I would want. I don't know, I guess it matches that, it's okay. But I found this and I thought, well, that kind of tones it down, so I can put that on there. And then here, same sort of thing. It's just a scrap, and it's got a tiny little fold out, and I just glued some lace on it. And I kind of like the way this hot pink works with these flowers, and then I like the doily on top of the polka dots. And anyway, so I'm kind of considering this signature complete, but now that I do that, it's not very thick. So I may need to do 4 signatures, but let's put together a couple more signatures and see what we come up with. And then I can decide if I need a 4th signature. So here are the hinged pages that I did, where I stitched them to a really long piece of fabric. So I made 3. Let's play with this one. So for my next signature, the outside of the signature needs to be a full-size piece of paper. I think I'll use this. And I forgot, as usual, oh, I can just measure this. So my pages are 5 inches wide by 8 inches tall. Is that what these are? Yeah. Okay. So 5 by 8. Oh, this one, I didn't print anything on the back yet. Oh, the other thing I was going to show you, I have an Epson Artisan printer, and it prints wide format, so I can print things up to 17 inches wide. So I made this a copy of one of my tea-dyed pieces of composition book paper with the lines on it and stuff, and I made it 12 by 12 so I could print it on the back side of single-sided scrapbook paper. And I've used this in a lot of my golden book journals and things like that, of the encyclopedia journals, because then I can use this and it's got, you know, a print on one side and then it's got lines on the other. I can print on my printer, I can print borderless so that it doesn't print this edge, but the only way to print borderless, it has to be in the very highest quality setting, and it uses a lot of ink. So anytime I use these, I usually end up trimming them down so I don't worry too much about that border. But no, that one's really pretty too. Let's use that one as our next. And hopefully I do try to make sure I put these in the printer the right direction so that once they come out and get folded, they are I'm folding them on the grain of the paper. This would be a really pretty page to do as my first, when you open the book, as the first. Would it, or is it too subtle? This is really bright. Maybe I do want to open it to that because this is really bright. Yep, I think I'm going to use this instead. Okay, this is going to be my first page. trim this down to 5. Oh, that's gonna take some of that pretty edge off. And down to 8 inches tall. Just cut that off and cut that bottom off. Yeah, the other day I spent hours online at museums that have digital collections that you can download stuff from, gathering some vintage wallpapers, images that I could use to make these really subtle backgrounds. Okay, so this will be, when you open the book, this is the first signature. So you'll open it and it's got this tealy colored thing here. So let me see. For some reason, I am really loving that blue, that dark blue on that. But I thought I had a bigger piece. Oh, I do, but it's bent. I don't know that I have. Oh, that's not the same. Well, I really like this with it. So I know I want to use that. And then let me find something to make it to go through the, that's too bright, through the center of it. And it could be anything. And that's white on the back. Where's the ones I painted? Hey, why is that even in there? That was supposed to be double-sided paper. How did you sneak in there? No. No. These little, is that like a pheasant? Those little pheasants are cute. Let's do the pheasants. So I'm just going to, let me just cut this down to 8. And it will be my, so this will basically be what I'm going to hinge it to. And then I'm just going to run a little tiny bead of glue down this edge. And I'm going to let that dry before I run it through my sewing machine. So I'm going to put that on there. Like that. And it will get stitched. And then I'm going to fold this in half. And then on the other side, well, actually, let me pick something for the center of it. Let's see. I have recently discovered, oh, I pulled out some other these. I pulled these out of another paper pack that I just found that I haven't used in a, I kind of like that. So then you're getting, so when you turn the first page, you're getting, oh, it's crooked. Oh no, I gotta fix that. Good thing I'm gonna stitch it. Can't have that crooked though. Maybe this, that's why I glanced at this piece of paper earlier, because I thought maybe this paper, and this is, I covered my workspace up because I thought it looks so much better not having that dirty cutting mat, but I really need this grid because I use the grid on my cutting mat to make sure things are straight. Okay. I think that's straight now. So this, and then this would be the center. Ooh, I like that. And then on this side, something here. I keep picking that up and I think it's too bright for this, for what I want right here. Do I like that? I kind of like that. And it's just a piece of ledger stuff on the back. I'm gonna cut cut it like that. And you know, you could do all kinds of, you know, you could scallop these edges or make them more interesting. Let's just put a bead right here. I may have to take this piece of paper off, and y'all are just gonna have to look at my ugly cutting mat. Because, let's see if I can do the magician with the tablecloth. I just think my videos look so much better with a clean background, but it's hard to work like that. Because this way I can actually make sure things are lined up or are square. In this case, the piece of paper itself may not be totally square. Okay, so that will be our first. It goes like that, and then it goes like that, and then it goes like that. So here's what you'll see. I may have to trim that a little bit. So you'll flip it open and you'll see this, and then you flip that, and you've got some text here, and that looks like it's maybe knitted or something. Then you've got 3 florals right there. And then this orange, I don't know, it doesn't match, kind of clashes, but this I think in the original wallpaper is gold, the edging on these leaves. And then there's the back, and the wing on that little pheasant kind of matches this. So there's my first one, and I'll sew this once I get the whole thing put together. I'm going to trim this off just a little bit though. It's sticking out a little too far. You know what else I could do? Because these corners are going to be so prominent, because it sticks out, I'm gonna, if I can, now that I already glued that on, I might not be able to. I'm gonna round these. Just so it feels a little softer when you're flipping through the pages, so that you don't have that really sharp corners jutting out. Okay, so that's the first one. So then we'll go in with another full-size sheet. And I've already got a floral thing going on here, so let's put something a little more plain for our next large sheet. How about one of these dyed pages? That one works. Do we like that together though? Because you're actually gonna see, that from here. No, I don't like that one. For right here. I wish these looked better. I don't know, that doesn't look that bad. And if I did it this way, this kind of, actually I think that kind of works, this hand-painted, weird hand-painted paper. I'm going with that. Okay, so then we need 2 smaller things. I'm sort of loving this ultra bright. There's some other pages that I had already, some stuff I had pulled. Oh, I have this one. Oh, I kind of like that. There's this, which is also, you've got the hand-painted thing. Flowers, I like that big bright pop of red, and I like these watercolory looking flowers with this, so I think we're going to do this one. That will go next. So I can either put something, ooh, I don't think I have any of it right here with me. I'll be right back. I was thinking of these. This is printed, some printed vellum that I have. And I was thinking one of these would be pretty because then you could see through the vellum and see the background behind it. So I've got flowers, I've got rosebuds. No, it's between these two, that one and that one. I think I like this one. And since I want this isn't going to be full sheet. But I do want it to be fairly, so I think I'm going to cut it. Let's go with 6 inches tall. Because when I do this, I also kind of think about what I'm cutting off. Will I be able to use what I'm cutting off somewhere else? And then we're doing 5, so 10 would be a full to the edge. So let's do 9. Now I should have done it taller than 6. I guess I could do a different one. Because 6 is like, yeah, I want it bigger than that. I guess we're using this one. I can use that somewhere else. But I wasn't thinking about this envelope, how tall that envelope is. So I think I do want it to come up really far. So instead of 6, let's do 7 and a tiny bit. And just over 9. Okay, that one's out and this one's in. So here's our neck. There's our next. Oh, look, it sticks out. That envelope sticks out. That's okay. So we've got that. Then you can see that you've got the vellum, but you can still see the, oh, and look, see this, I love this, how you just do this at random, and then this is a grid, and then I wasn't even thinking, but look, this is a grid also. So I've got the grids that you can see together, and that's gonna have that envelope in the middle, and then that still looks good on this side. So now we need another full sheet, and I haven't used my, the other page with the fabric on it yet, so that will go in, but I need another full sheet. So maybe I could pull the pink page in now that it's not going to be next to, now that it's not going to be next to that. It would be here, which I don't mind at all. So let's trim this. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe and healthy. I have to say, I have not been watching the news at all. So I don't even know what the status is of the world at the moment as far as the pandemic and everything. I have really been just staying away from it. I figure if something major's happening, my husband can fill me in on it, but I'm not really even sure, like, the status of the number of cases where I live and that kind of thing. I've just been tuning it out. So is this our center? Yeah, this would be our center spread. So we want something really pretty there. Let's see. Oh, what about, there's too much stuff. What about one of those, oh, look at this. That's cute. that's cute. Or I've got another doily. I could do another doily there. Or that's really cute. But I've already got this print somewhere in this signature. Where's that stuff I folded up inside that piece of paper? Sorry guys, okay, I have to admit something. So you know how it's true that I'm going to talk about accents. So growing up in Texas, with Texan parents and Texan grandparents and Texan great-grandparents, growing up here, I had a very thick Texas accent growing up. And my first job out of college, I was a buyer for a department store. I was the home textiles buyer. I bought linens, sheets and towels and bedding and stuff like that. And I was not well traveled at that point in my life, right after college. I think I had gone to Europe. Or maybe I hadn't gone yet. But, okay, I'm going to get to my point soon. Do I want something else? Oh, you know what I want right there in the middle is a big heart. So, for work, I shopped market in New York a lot. And when I started going, I don't know, I think the first time I ever went to New York for market was probably 1993. Do I like that? It's kind of weird, but I think I like it. So the first time I went to market in New York, I think it was 1993. And let me tell you, my Texas twang got a lot of attention. And the way sometimes that maybe the New Yorker can kind of come off is not necessarily, you know, oh, I love your accent. It's more like, oh my goodness, you're from Texas, aren't you? I mean, it was, I don't know. Sometimes I felt like they were kind of talking down to me, and I have heard that like if you do surveys and stuff, people perceive people with a heavy Southern accent or as less intelligent. But I made a conscious effort when I was going to New York all the time to try not to sound like a Texan. And the other thing that I've heard or I've read or whatever is that the more well-traveled you are, the more you've traveled, you know, you start to lose your accent. And, oh, I like that. Need some on this side. You start to lose your accent the more well-traveled you are. And I am far more well-traveled now than I was when I graduated college, including spending crazy amounts of time going back and forth to New York as a buyer and, well, always as a buyer. So, all that to say, if I can come all the way back around to what led me to this topic, is that in these videos I've noticed that I say you guys. And I have never in my childhood or my young adult life uttered the phrase you guys. always say y'all. That's what we say. But y'all is definitely something that I think I sort of intentionally phased out of my you know, everyday vernacular from going back and forth to New York a lot and having, I mean, at one point, I mean, there were people that actually, I remember the guy, I remember his name and everything, who actually, I mean, he was really rude. I mean, making fun of my accent. So I made an effort to try to tone down my accent, but I don't know why I picked up saying you guys in videos, unless it's just because I figure it doesn't sound as Texan. I don't know, but I would never say you guys in real life. So maybe I should stop saying that instead of making an effort. I don't know. I'm going to start saying y'all in my videos because that's what we say here in Texas. Instead of saying you guys and trying to fit in. So y'all, thank you for sticking with me, and I hope y'all are doing well. And staying safe and all that fun stuff. I think I had a comment from Kay where she mentioned that I hadn't done any digital kits in a while, and it is my intention to do some more, so hopefully I'll get some things going soon. Do we like that? Ooh, I do like that. I'll get some more. I think the next thing I'm going to do is I wanted to play with my handkerchief collection, but I'm very particular about my digitals because I starched and pressed my handkerchiefs for hours, and then I'm lint rolling them, and then I'm scanning them, and I'm rescanning them, and then I'm photoshopping out the shadows and making sure that they're, I mean, they almost don't even look like fabric anymore by the time I like all these, but I haven't put anything on the back. Maybe I'll stitch this on as a pocket. Yeah, that can be a pocket. So I'll just put a paper clip there. Oh, this would be even better pocket. Hello. This pocket. And I was going to try to keep this video to about 30 minutes, but you can see how well that went. So I think I'm gonna keep going. I'll finish creating this last, you know what? No, I'm just gonna keep going. Y'all just have to either, you can watch this video in 2 parts, or you can go now and don't watch the end of it. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep going. I am really not good with a 30-minute video, especially when I get into the chit-chat and start chit-chatting, prattling on about things. I don't like that together. I like this side of that, but I'm not sure how I feel about this side. You know, I think I kind of do like it. Oh, but I was going to put this in. That doesn't go. I feel like my desk got really disorganized, and it's throwing me off because now my papers that I was trying to keep separate, double-sided, and my papers are all mixed up. Okay, maybe I will. I'm going to clean up my desk, and then I will come back with a part 2, or I mean, I think I'm going to do this in a multiple videos. So that's starting. I showed you my cover, and I'm going to start working on, I'll finish up these signatures in the next video, and then we can figure out how big our spine needs to be, and sew all our fabric on the edges, and then get it bound. So I hope you guys are doing well. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up below. If you didn't like the video, move on and I'll see you later. Or I won't. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. Bye, y'all.